One of the reasons also that I was attracted to Vienna so much is the feeling that actually what happens with me and with my life in Vienna basically depends on myself.
Welcome to One Day in Vienna. Our guest today, Vladimir Novicic.
Name Vladimir Novicic, Geburtsland Serbien, Ankunft in Wien 2005, Familienstand, verheiratet, Beruf Inhaber des Delikatessenladens MezeSliva.
I'm your host, Lauren Lerv, and welcome to this podcast where we're going to be uncovering those memorable anecdotes about this magical city that, let's face it, we all love and hate in moments. The expats featured on this show will be enlightening us as to how they navigated becoming a local in Vienna, often with a splattering of hilarious culture clashes to boot. Hello and welcome to One Day in Vienna. Today I am with Vladimir Novicic and his wonderful wife Bojana, and we are at their flagship store, which is MezeSliva in the 4th district, which specializes in Balkan gastronomic culture. Hi, Vladimir.
Hi, Lauren.
As you know, in our podcast, we are asking people how they got to Vienna and all about their stories. So can you tell us what brought a Balkan speciality expert to Vienna?
Yeah, so it started quite some time ago. So I came 2005 to Vienna. At that time, I was in the middle of my studies, veterinary medicine in Belgrade. My basic idea was to become a small animal doctor, like veterinarian. And then from some ex-former study colleagues of mine, I have experienced about university in Vienna, how good it is, and it provides many chances and so on. And then I wanted to take my chance as well. When I came here, then I have started to get more and more interest for food hygiene. And then I was doing actually lots of subjects also here in Vienna, the university, which helped me to specialize myself for the food hygiene. And then, after the studies, then basically I was looking for a job in that area. And also my very special day is also related to both university and also to my future employer.
Please tell us about your memorable or your one day.
At that time, it was 2010, so I have already finished my studies. And then after that, I have started to do a kind of internship at the university. So basically, I was employed for 1 year doing 50% of the time I was doing like some field education, and then 50% of the time we were working basically there. So at the same time, I was in kind of recruitment process for my future employer. I knew that they want to hire me, but there was a kind of barrier between them and myself. At that time, I had a working student visa without full access to the labor market. And at that time, also my wonderful wife, Bojana, she also came together with me to Vienna. At that time, she just started to learn German, so she was not employed. So basically, I was the only one who was employed, and so in a kind of bringing the money for both of us. She is generally a hardworking person, so she was doing her thing, trying to proceed with her own doctoral dissertation, actually. So we knew that we must grab our chances and also try at the same time to develop us in a way that each one of us felt that it is the right way. So with this company where I was afterwards employed, I had that feeling. So I felt really like, okay, this is a really good chance. I want to work for them. But there was still this barrier. So I couldn't be employed for them automatically. So what they tried like in a couple of weeks or even months before that. So I was recruited. So like 2 months before this very special day, they told me, okay, Vladimir, we want to have you. All went good. We find you like for a very interesting candidate, and we want to have such a person. It's a really big company. It's one of the best and most famous employer in Austria and Vienna. It's a big retailer company, one of 2 major companies. So it was really huge and big chance for me. And also it was a chance for me to work within an area with my previous studies where I could really jump into the something which I was really interested in. And then basically after 2 months, this company came to me and they told to me, okay, Vladimir, so now we have tried many things. We have tried to get your working permits, your paper for you. At that time, that wasn't easy to accomplish this procedure because that was exactly the time where one old former law legislation for these issues was actually about to be revoked, and the new legislation should be put into practice in a couple of months after that. And I was exactly at that time. We applied according to the old legislation. And the company then, they simply called me and told me like, hey, Vladimir, you are a really great candidate. We want to have you, but you see yourself like we cannot hire you because like nothing is going on, nothing happens. And we cannot wait also for another 6 months or 1 year because we need someone. And that happened on this very specific day in the morning. So they called me like around 9 o'clock in the morning. They told me that, and I was really like a kind of thinking, okay, I get really bad news because that would affect my future or actually the future of both of us a lot, because if one of us wouldn't have a job with a working permit, then it would also mean that with the permits that we have, actually then within a couple of months we have to leave the country, and we wanted to stay here. So we like the country, we like the city. Even at that time I was recognizing myself also as a Viennese guy who likes Vienna, likes its multicultural spirit, likes the melting pot in Vienna, and basically both of us, we wanted to stay. And I was thinking like, okay, so it's a bad news, but I'm not just going to accept it as it is. I will do everything what I can to reverse this decision. One of the reasons also that I was attracted to Vienna so much is the feeling that actually what happens with me and with my life in Vienna basically depends on myself. So it doesn't depend on the fact if I was born rich or not, if I have good connections somewhere, or I have parents who could, clear the way for me a little bit, or if I belong to some specific ethnic group or religious group. All of my jobs, I found them myself. And also I managed to have good jobs, and also managed to have a really decent and nice development of my journey in Vienna. That's how I felt, mostly because of the fact that I was the one who could affect my future destiny. That's also what gave me a strength to say, okay, and like I was rejected. And then I proceeded with the day. So like, I did my job there. I was taking care of my patients, cats and dogs and so on. And then at that moment, I was at the clinic for internal diseases. So and there you had also one part of it, oncology. So there were also some patients like cats and dogs, which are also actually in terminal phase. And with such patients, you must deal also very carefully because they are in lots of pain and so on. And that was one day where one thing happened to me additionally to this bad news, where I was thinking like, okay, what's next? On that day, I had to put to sleep in total 5 animals. And what happened? I was bitten by a cat and by a dog on the same day. But that was really...
You're like, what else am I going to get?
And not pleasant experience at all for all of us. And then it was late afternoon, I don't know, like between 3 and 4 p.m. And I was like, okay, like now I have stitches and bandages on my hands, and I have done all this unpleasant work. And then still I have to deal with this issue that happened to me in the morning. First, I called the magistrat where we put my application. I was talking to them, okay, guys, I was rejected. What can be done? They told me, like, basically, you can wait. But then I went to the internet, and I was looking for the phone numbers. I found the phone number from Ministry of Foreign Issues and Ministry for Internal Issues and so on. And I was like trying to call them. And then I was waiting for someone to answer. And then suddenly some lady answered to me. And I tried to give her my short story. What is it about? She was very nice, very polite. She listened to me and she told me, I cannot help you. I can only try to connect you with the person that is responsible. And that's actually Mr. Dr. Magister this and that, who actually was the coordinator and also the person that was actually leading the project of writing this legislation. So basically, he is the real one. He is today also in office. I could try to connect you to him, and then you could ask what might happen. And I was like, yes, please, yes, do it.
Sign me up.
Yeah. It was also some really, really nice person who had patience for me. Like, he was listening to me for the first couple of minutes. I was just like bombing him with information, like bam, 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 this and that. Like, and he must have seen for sure that I am very stressed with this whole situation. But he told me, okay, Vladimir, so basically, yeah, as you said, yeah, you have applied with this old legislation. At that time, it was called key workforce application. And then it was about to switch to this red, white, red card.
Die Rot-Weiß-Rot-Karte ist ein spezielles Visum in Österreich, das hochqualifizierten Arbeitskräften aus Nicht-EU-Ländern die Möglichkeit gibt, in Österreich zu leben und zu arbeiten. Um diese Karte zu bekommen, muss man bestimmte Kriterien erfüllen, wie zum Beispiel eine hohe berufliche Qualifikation, Berufserfahrung und Sprachkenntnisse. Es gibt verschiedene Kategorien dieser Karte, je nachdem, welchen Job man hat oder ob man selbstständig arbeiten möchte. Die Rot-Weiß-Rot-Karte ist ein wichtiger Schritt für Menschen, die in Österreich ein neues berufliches Leben beginnen wollen.
And he told to me, like, basically, that's true. You have to wait until it's completed, the whole procedure. But according to what you have told to me, I believe you have a really good chance for a positive decision. I will look what I can do, and if there is anything what we can do in order to provide you with any kind of written proof or anything which would help you probably with your future employer. This all was actually happening within 24 hours. That night, I almost didn't sleep at all. Like, I was waiting for the news from them, and then I was in a tram driving from 15th district to 21st. It was 7-something a.m. on the day after, when from his office, someone called me and told me, we just want to inform you that you will receive from us one email, and where we confirm that your application is with us and that we have your application that basically looks good, but we cannot provide you official positive decision until the whole procedure is completed. I got this email from him. I have forwarded this email to the HR of the company that was about to hire me, and they told me, okay, yeah, we acknowledge that. Okay, many thanks for that. We will get back to you. On the same day, on the afternoon, they called me again and they told me, Vladimir, we have reversed our decision. We are now 100% dedicated to hire you, and we're going to wait for you. How long does it take you? When can you start to work for us?
A really lovely message that you came to that idea by yourself. Like, I've achieved a lot in this country through being Vladimir and for fighting what I want, which is authentic. And then Austria backing you up and actually doing exactly the same. I think that's a very true message about Vienna. When you really, really want something, there is somebody at the end of a phone as well. People do care. And normally it takes a bit longer, in my experience. You are very lucky. But I think that's a very true message about Vienna.
As a foreigner, you might hear, even especially in the first couple of years, Austrian, they are conservative, they are a closed society, this and that. But there are probably some situations when you can feel also such a things. But basically, what my experience is, what I felt in many situations, also completely another mentality, another approach, where the people are really open to you and they are mostly interested in what kind of person are you and what is the message that you send with your actions and all the deeds that you do.
And people are menschlich. Like, they really, from my experience as well, they really try when they can to help, if they believe in you.
And what is the core message? I would say, like, not only to the people who are coming to Vienna as newcomers, but basically to everyone, grab your chances, believe in yourself, fight for yourself, do everything what you can. Even if it doesn't turn to be as it should be, as you want it to be, at least you would know, I have done my part. I have done everything what I can. And then at the end of the day, I won't be regretting and telling myself, sitting in a living room and thinking about, okay, if I would have done this and that, it might have been other way probably.
And actually Vienna, also Austria, they believe in rules and things, but there's a lot of flexibility in those rules.
Yeah.
That's what I think you've also shown us today.
Yeah, so it was really one striking story. I know this is not the kind of story. I come from Balkan countries, from former Yugoslavia, but I wasn't the one from the people that came because of the war and so on. I came after that. So during the civil war in Yugoslavia, I was there in Yugoslavia. I was a teenager, so I didn't came because of that. I came because of my studies, but I found it like this is a kind of story that I could share, and yeah.
I think it's a beautiful story and it changed your life forever. And Bojana's. It changed both of your lives forever. Yeah. And it was a real 180 day scenario.
Yeah, it was really like ups and downs. It was a roller coaster with emotions, feelings, adrenaline and so on, cortisol, with everything. So it was really...
And injuries.
Injuries as
injuries.
Well. Yeah. I believe it symbolizes also in a nice manner that also in a longer run, like, you have your ups and downs, you have everything in your life. But I believe what's more importantly, just, lift your head up, keep on pushing, doing your thing, and one way or another, the thing will start to develop in a positive direction.
And I have to say, I think it's worked out for you in Bojana because I'm sitting in your absolutely gorgeous shop in the 4th district. It seems to have worked out for you pretty well in the long run. As you know, we like to ask people about their relationship with the German language. So you mentioned that you'd studied as a veterinary practice in Vienna. So were you studying in German already?
I was studying in German here, so it wasn't possible to do the studies in English. When I came to Vienna, at that time I have started to learn German. So first semester I was actually only learning German. Then I went to the German exam. It was like entry exam for me in that sense. Once I passed this exam, exam, then I could actually start with.
So are you now fluent in German, you would say? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And do you love the language?
I love the language.
Yeah.
I love the languages always. And so I felt comfortable with languages generally.
And do you have any favorite like German or Austrian German words that you use?
One word that I find really funny and also kind of a word that really represents German language. It sounds rough and at the same time it describes something which is actually very beautiful phenomenon in nature. And that's a word for a butterfly, Schmetterling. Like Schmetterling, it's for someone who is foreigner, it's a word with lots of letters. For some people, it's not easy to pronounce, but once you get used to it, you see actually it's quite nice, easy word, but it sounds like a kind of rough. Schmetterling.
Das deutsche Wort Schmetterling hat einen interessanten Ursprung. Im Mittelhochdeutschen wurde es als smetern oder schmetten bezeichnet, was schlagen oder butterähnlich bedeutet. Der Name könnte davon kommen, dass die alten Deutschen glaubten, dass Hexen in der Gestalt von Schmetterlingen erscheinen, um Milch und Butter zu stehlen oder zu verderben. Eine andere Theorie ist, dass der Name von der Vorstellung kommt, dass Schmetterlinge wie geschlagene Sahne oder Butter aussehen, wegen ihrer weichen und zarten Flügel.
It doesn't sound like as Rose, Sonne, Liebe, something like that. And it describes something which is actually really, really, really nice and beautiful in the nature. And the word itself is really rough. So that's what I find very interesting.
Never thought about that before. That's so true.
I wasn't thinking about that as well. This is something that I saw somewhere in internet. Someone was commenting, and then I was thinking, yeah, actually that's true, and that this is really it's really like that.
A lot of people have been talking about different words. It's been very insightful, actually, about what words sound like and what they mean. Words that I would never think about.
And then some other words, that are there are some like like Sonne, for sun, or Himmel for the skies, and
Himmelblau.
Or Liebe for love, and so like those are really nice words, smooth, easygoing, even in German, which sounds like rough language, you know. Even in German, it sounds really nice and easygoing and smooth and so on. And that's what I love with this with this language. Yeah, one thing that I also like with German language is that there are lots of similarities in the grammar with my mother language. So that is also the reason why I believe for us, like for the people from Slavic countries, it's not that hard to learn German as it is for someone who is coming from Asia, Africa, or where the language philosophy is probably completely different than the German one.
And actually, on that note, have you had any culture clashes? I mean, you're from the Balkans. The Balkan culture is very different from Austrian culture, or?
Yes, it is, but basically I believe because of the very fact that Balkans and also the Central Europe and also German-speaking area, we are actually living for centuries close to another. We are pointed to each other as a culture, as regions not for the decades, we are talking about the centuries. That's the reason why I believe they get used to us, we got used to them, and I believe also because we are the ones who came here. So I cannot expect that the system will accommodate itself to me. We are the ones that should give a try and try to integrate ourselves into the society and so on. And I believe the people from Eastern Europe are quite good at this.
But actually, Vladimir, we're sitting in your shop, which has delicious things from your home country. So I think that's also why you're very welcome in Vienna.
Yeah, okay, yeah, many thanks. Yeah, that's probably also very true. Yeah, and actually, fair enough. And you put it really actually to the point. So it is.
We will taste them all later. But what I also wanted to ask you is, we're asking guests what their favorite places are in Vienna. Could you tell us one of your favorite places and why you love it?
Yeah, there are two of them, First District and Museumsquartier.
Why?
So I like both of them because of the very flair you can feel there when you go for a walk, the people you meet there. Both of these places, they represent to me really the very essence of the Vienna, how I see it. And it's a multicultural place and a melting pot of different cultures and people from different regions, different origins and so on. And all of that comes together in a single spot, First District or Museumsquartier, and all of that functions very well and sends a really beautiful message to everyone who comes there.
Vladimir, and of course Bojana as well, thank you so much for sharing your lovely, beautiful story today about how you got to where you did. And I suggest that everyone heads down to MezeSliva and tastes all of the delicious things and drinks all the delicious things that you have here on offer.
Many thanks also for inviting me, for having the chance to have this very nice chit-chat with you.
And you'll be seeing me again. I'm coming down here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Many thanks.
Thank you. Auf Wiederhören.
Thank you. Bye.
You love Vienna too and want to learn German? Innes Vienna will get you there. Vienna's best language school offers a variety of courses and trainings at different levels, at different times, and at different intensities. All information about Innes Vienna and today's guests can be found in the show notes. And there we also explain all other German words, terms, and Viennese areas from this episode. Thanks for listening. Auf Wiederhören.